Chosen one. There is a reason your life has never fit inside ordinary definitions. You have tried to explain yourself to people who only measure by appearances. But what rests on you was never meant to be understood by shallow eyes. You carry a resemblance that does not come from flesh alone. There is something in your spirit that mirrors the heart of Jesus, the way you keep loving after betrayal, the way you keep rising after crushing pressure, the way you feel things deeply even when the world rewards numbness. You are not weak because you feel deeply. You are marked because heaven trusted you with a living imprint of Christ-like power. This is why your battles have been unusual. Darkness does not waste arrows on empty vessels. The resistance around your life has been intense because your presence carries a holy disturbance. Even before you speak, atmospheres shift. Even before you defend yourself, hidden things begin to shake. You have wondered why some people react to you with jealousy, distance, or silent discomfort when you never harmed them. It is because the light on you exposes what they hoped to keep buried. You do not need to strive to prove who you are. Oil does not shout, yet it leaves a mark on everything it touches. The truth is that Jesus is not only calling you to admire him from a distance, he is forming his character in you. That is where the real holy power begins. Not in noise, not in performance, not in religious display. It begins when his mind starts reshaping your thoughts, when his compassion softens your wounds without making you passive, when his authority teaches you to stand firm without becoming cruel. You are learning that sacred power is not reckless force. Sacred power is controlled by obedience. Sacred power walks with purity. Sacred power knows when to be silent, when to speak, when to bless, and when to break agreement with darkness. The enemy wanted your pain to distort your image. God is using that same pain to refine it. What tried to harden your heart is now becoming the ground where mercy grows stronger. What tried to make you hide is becoming the very testimony that reveals the hand of God over your life. You are being shaped into a visible reminder that Jesus still transforms, still heals, still anoints, and still releases authority through those who surrender fully, as the apostle reminds us in his letter to the Corinthians, chapter 3, verse 18. And we all, who with unveiled faces contemplate the Lord's glory, are being transformed into his image with ever-increasing glory, which comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit. Receive this deeply. You are not being erased by the process. You are being transformed by it. Like this message, share it with someone who needs confirmation. Subscribe for more, and comment 144 if you are ready to reflect his image without fear. Chosen one. The pain you have carried is not random weight. It is part of the furnace that revealed what was hidden inside you. Many people saw the pressure around your life and assumed it meant you were abandoned, delayed, or forgotten. But heaven saw something entirely different. God allowed certain fires because there were dimensions of your calling that could only emerge under heat. What broke weaker identities could not destroy the mark on your soul. It only exposed it. That is why rejection followed you so closely. Rejection often appears where divine distinction is present, because what is chosen by God is rarely welcomed by systems built on comfort, compromise, and imitation. You have known what it means to love sincerely and still be misunderstood. You have offered loyalty and received distance. You have shown your heart and watched others handle it carelessly. There were doors you prayed over that still closed. There were people you thought would stand beside you who instead became part of the lesson, yet none of it was wasted. Every betrayal stripped away an illusion. Every disappointment taught your spirit to lean more heavily on God than on human applause. Every lonely night trained your inner hearing, while others were building their identity on acceptance. You were being taught to survive without it. That is not a small lesson. That is spiritual strength. The reason your path has felt sharper than most is because your life carries evidence. God is not merely blessing you for private comfort. He is shaping you into a testimony that can stand in front of wounded people and still radiate truth. Your scars are not proof that God failed to protect you. They are proof that hell could not erase you. You are still standing, still believing, still carrying light, even after the blows meant to silence your voice. That endurance is not ordinary. It is sacred construction. The Spirit spoke through the prophet Zechariah, chapter 13, verse 9. I will refine them like silver and test them like gold. They will call on my name and I will answer them. I will say, they are my people. And they will say, the Lord is our God. This is what your suffering has been doing. It has been refining your motives, purifying your discernment, and burning away the need to be validated by those who cannot recognize what God has placed within you. You are not merely surviving rejection. You are being separated from false attachments, false identities, and false dependencies. The pain was real, but it was never pointless. It carved room in you for greater authority, deeper compassion, and clearer vision. What wounded you did not have the final word. God did. And what He is building in you now is stronger, cleaner, and far more dangerous to darkness than what existed before the fire began at all. Chosen one. By now you have already seen that your life does not move like the lives of those who can sleep through spiritual weather. You feel shifts before others name them. You sense resistance before it takes visible form. You walk into places carrying peace, and hidden unrest begins to surface because what rests on you refuses to make peace with darkness. This is not because you are better than anyone. It is because the Spirit of Christ within you creates a confrontation simply by being present. Light does not need permission to expose what has been hiding in the room. It reveals by nature. That is why some seasons have felt strangely intense. You are not merely dealing with moods, misunderstandings, or bad timing. You are stepping into invisible collisions. The holiness you carry was pressing against structures built on fear, envy, deception, and compromise. Some people called you difficult when what they really meant was that your discernment made their masks uncomfortable. Some called you distant when what unsettled them was your refusal to join what God never approved. You thought you were losing connection. But often God was protecting your oil from being diluted by environments that could celebrate charisma yet resist purity. The holy power you carry is not theatrical. It is precise. It works through your prayers, through your restraint, through your obedience, through the way your spirit refuses to bow when pressure says surrender your convictions. You may not always see the full result in the moment, but the realm of darkness recognizes what many people miss. It recognizes the authority formed in secret communion with God. It recognizes the soul that has been broken open and filled again by grace. It recognizes the vessel that no longer needs applause to remain faithful. The Word of God declares in the book of Luke, chapter 10, verse 19, Behold, I have given you authority to tread on serpents and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. Receive the weight of that promise. You are not wandering defenseless through spiritual conflict. You are carrying delegated authority. Your voice matters when it aligns with heaven. Your refusal matters when temptation circles near. Your peace matters when chaos tries to colonize your mind. Even your silence can become warfare when it is chosen under God's command. Comment still anointed below as your declaration that pressure did not cancel what God placed on your life. And if this message is feeding your spirit in a meaningful way, donate to support this channel so more chosen ones can receive strength, clarity, and timely confirmation. Chosen one, there is a reason this moment feels sharper than the ones before it. The battle is no longer only about your wounds, your delays, or your discouragement. It is about your decision. There comes a threshold in every anointed life where hesitation becomes dangerous. Because once God has shown you what He is doing, pretending not to see it becomes its own kind of resistance. This is why your spirit has been restless. This is why compromise has started to feel heavier than obedience. This is why old distractions no longer fit the same way. You are standing in a decisive hour, and heaven is not whispering to entertain you. Heaven is speaking to turn you. The warning is not meant to terrify you into paralysis. It is meant to wake you before dullness settles in. Spiritual blindness rarely arrives all at once. It begins when a person repeatedly delays what God has made clear. It begins when conviction is treated like inconvenience. It begins when sacred interruptions are ignored until the heart grows used to negotiating with what once brought holy sorrow. That is why this moment matters. God is not merely asking for your attention. He is asking for your alignment. He is calling you out of partial surrender and into whole agreement. You have already seen what happens when you drift. Peace weakens, clarity fades. The things that once stirred your spirit start feeling distant. Yet even in that, mercy has not abandoned you. The very fact that you can still feel conviction means the door has not closed. The ache in your spirit is proof that God is still drawing you. This is not rejection. This is rescue. This is divine intervention before numbness hardens into rebellion. The enemy would love to convince you that delay is harmless, that disobedience can remain small, that tomorrow will always offer the same grace as today. But every delay shapes the heart in some direction, and no soul stands still for long. The apostle wrote in the letter to the Hebrews, chapter 3, verse 15. Today, if you will hear His voice, harden not your hearts. That word is both warning and mercy. Today, not someday when the conditions feel easier, not after one more compromise, not after one more season of divided loyalty. Today, the holy power on your life cannot fully flourish where resistance is being secretly protected. God is not asking you to become flawless overnight. He is asking you to stop defending what He has already told you to release. The same voice that convicts you is the voice that heals you. The same hand that confronts you is the hand that restores you. So do not mistake this urgency for condemnation. It is love refusing to leave you half awake when you were called to walk in full light and unwavering truth before Him. Chosen one. This is where the journey stops feeling like survival and begins to look like commission. You did not endure all that fire merely to say you made it through. You were brought through so you could stand with clarity, carry holy authority, and move in the confidence of someone who finally understands that God never wastes pain, delay, or separation. The crown on your life is not vanity. It is responsibility. It is the visible sign that heaven trusted you to carry weight without worshiping yourself. There comes a moment when you can no longer speak about your calling as though it belongs to some distant future. The preparation has been long. The testing has been sharp. The hidden seasons have felt endless. But there is a shift now. God is pulling you out of hesitation and into agreement. You are not meant to keep apologizing for the oil on your life. You are not meant to shrink your voice so small that darkness can continue operating without interruption. You are not meant to call yourself ordinary when the hand of God has marked your steps from the beginning. Holy authority does not mean you control everything around you. It means you are no longer controlled by everything around you. Fear does not get to name you. Rejection does not get to define you. Delay does not get to interpret your future. You have been taught in secret how to stand still when pressure rises, how to pray when your emotions shake, and how to obey when the outcome is not yet visible. That is maturity. That is power under surrender. That is what makes you dangerous to every force that hoped you would remain confused about who you are. The Word of God declares in the first letter of Peter, chapter 2, verse 9, "But you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a people for His own possession, that you may proclaim the excellencies of Him who called you out of darkness into His marvelous light." So rise with that truth burning in your spirit. You are not crowned to be admired. You are crowned to proclaim. You are not anointed to impress. You are anointed to reveal His light in places that forgot light still exists. Let your next steps be bold, clean, and fully surrendered. Comment 515 below as your prophetic sign that you are stepping into your holy assignment with courage, humility, and unwavering obedience today. And now, as this word comes to rest upon your spirit, let it remain there like dew on sacred ground, quiet but life-giving. If this message has reached you like a lantern in a fog-covered field, let your light become a single golden flame set upon the path, so another soul may know this road is not empty. Let your share be like opening a hidden gate in a garden, allowing someone else to step into the fragrance of hope when they thought only thorns were left. Let your comment be the footprint you leave in fresh soil, a tender witness that God is still moving among those who refuse to surrender. If you choose to subscribe, let it be like building your house beside a living well, returning again and again to the place where your spirit remembers how to drink. And if your heart is moved to donate, let it be like placing oil into a midnight lamp, so the light does not fade for the weary ones still searching for dawn.